Hi, this is PG of PG's Loomacy. In this tutorial, we will be making Debra's 10-pin fishtail bracelet. Someone on the Rainbow Loom Facebook page named Debra posted her bracelet design, and I really liked her bracelet, and it's good that she gave consent to anyone who would like to make a tutorial for that design. So I downloaded her picture and printed her instructions, and in this video I would like to make the bracelet that Debra posted. I'd like to call it Debra's 10-pin fishtail bracelet. First, we need to configure the loom just like Debra did, and so we will take the loom apart. You will use the base removal end of the hook to pry the base pieces off the loom, and you will have your pin bars free. And then what Debra did was to take away the middle pin bar and just place the side pin bars. And they are in a rectangle configuration, which means that the pins are aligned. Then she placed the base pieces in such a way that she had 5 pins on each side free. And that is how we will use the loom. I will be using the same colors that Debra used. She used blue and white for her design. So first we will place figure 8 bands on the pins, and the first one will be from this pin to this pin, the center pins, and we will place a figure 8 band. Next, we will place a figure 8 band from this pin to this pin. And then another figure 8 from this pin to this pin. So they are crisscrossing each other, and we will also do that on this other side. Okay, and take note that the arrows on the loom are pointing to the left, and the channels are also facing left. So those are the first bands that were placed. This will hold the end of the bracelet. Now let us place the actual layers. What Debra did was to connect 2 bands together so that they slip through each other, and then they form a knot in the middle, and they are connected. Okay, and those connected bands were placed on the corner pins with the knot in the middle. And then she placed bands that form triangles, and from my view I would have a triangle, and I'm using blue, a triangle that is pointing upwards, and another triangle, this time I'm using white, on top of the first triangle that is pointing downwards. And make sure that this side of the band is over this pin in the center. So that is the layout for the bands. Let's do that again. Let us connect two bands together, okay, and place them on the corner pins. Remember, we are using these 10 pins, and these are the 4 corner pins. Okay, not in the middle. And then I could not figure out the pattern that Debra used for her triangle band, so I just alternated my pieces. So this is a white band on top, so I am placing a blue band this time. Okay, and then on this other side, since I have a blue band here, I am placing a white band for the triangle. Okay, so that is the layout for the bands. And we are ready to do our first looping. For looping, I loop with the channels facing me. These are the channels, and they're facing me, so I could have access to the bands in the bottom. So we are getting these bands in the bottom. We have 3 bands on each pin right now, and we are getting the bands in the bottom, and then we are looping them over the pin and inwards. So let's do that. Over, inwards. Okay, over and inwards, over and inwards. Okay, let's go on the other side. Inwards. Okay, we are getting the bottom band out of the 3. Okay, there you go. So that is our first looping. So we are left with 2 bands each now on the pins, and let us push down the bands so far so we could have room for the next layer. So for the next layer, again, we connect 2 bands with a knot in the middle, and then place those bands on the corner pins with the knot in the middle. And then alternating, I have a white band here, so I'm placing a blue band this time. Okay. And then I have a blue band on this side on the top, so I'll be placing a white one, and we will just be alternating between blue and white. So now we have 3 bands again on each of the pins, and just like any fishtail method, we will be getting the bottom band and looping it over the pins inwards, like so. Getting all the bottom bands, and make sure you don't miss any of the bands. You'll be looping a total of 10 bands for each step. Okay, push them down, and we are ready to place our next layer. Okay, connect the 2 bands together, form a knot in the middle, and then place that on the corner. knot in the middle. Then we'll place our triangles, white on top here. So now we're placing a blue band. Always make sure that this side of the band is over this pin in the center. Okay, and for this side we'll be placing a white triangle. Okay, then we will loop again. Okay, keep on doing this pattern until you get the length of bracelet that you need. Okay, I think I have enough length for my bracelet. By the way, I have a confession to make. I messed up to this part because it took me a while to figure out Debra's pattern, but eventually I got it, and so this part of the bracelet is good. And if you follow the technique I showed you, you will get this instead of this. I did not show how to get this, and I don't think you want to do that. So I think I have enough length for my bracelet. I will just have to, live with this ugly part here just for the sake of the tutorial. And now we will end our bracelet. So what we do, we have 2 bands on each of the pins. We will loop the second band that's in the bottom over. Okay. So now we just have 1 band on each of the pins. And now what we will do is we will combine the bands on the 2 sides, and we will combine them just on one side. Like, I'll get this band and combine it with this band. I'll get this band, combine it with this, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now I have those bands on one side. Now I don't know how Debra will end her piece, but here's how I will do mine. I will be placing double loop bands on this side of the loom so that I could put together the ends of my bands and secure them with a C-clip. So let's place double loop bands, and to place double loop bands you place a single band and then loop it back, and it will be a double loop band. And you start from the top, then add a second one, and then loop it back. Okay. Loop it back. Loop it back. Okay, so I have 4 double loop bands on this side of the loom, and I would like to transfer my loops back to this side. Okay. I transferred my loops to this side so that I will have the double loop bands underneath the bracelet bands. Okay, and now remember the first 5 bands that we place, we are going to sort them out and then place them on the 5 pins as well. Okay. Remember the bands that were in figure 8, we will place them on these 5 pins. Okay. This is 1 in the middle. This is 2. Getting the last one on this side. Okay. Then we have one more on this side. Okay. Now I will place a capping band on this pin. I will loop it 3 times, 1, 2, and 3. And then I will loop all the bands underneath, or I'm sorry, only the double loop band. I will loop this double loop band. Okay. Then this double loop band. Okay. Then this double loop band. And then this double loop band. Okay. And then I will grab a single blue band and secure all the loops on top, and then I will secure that with a C-clip. Okay, so let's see what happens. I will have to get this pin bar out of here and then get the piece off the loom. I am improvising here because Debra did not show how she closed off her bracelet. Okay, but this looks good. And this is the good section, and this is the messed up section. I hope that when I do this bracelet again, I will have a full section that's all good. Let's see. Okay, so it looks good. So this is Debra's 10-pin fishtail bracelet.